Oh, I'm to the background. Okay. Okay. Okay, I think we're ready to let them in. So Irving, you can let those in the waiting room in. Okay. I think Irving left.
Oh, sorry, my Zoom froze. It
Okay.
kicked me out. Are we gonna start already?
Yes, so once you're ready, you can let them all in.
Okay. All right, let me do that. Sorry.
Welcome, everyone. Thank you for waiting. Welcome, welcome. All right, well, welcome everyone to today's session on becoming a middle school, high school teacher. Just making sure everyone's joining. As we're waiting for everyone to come in, we do have an icebreaker activity. So in the chat, we would like for you to either share what or who inspired you to become a teacher. And then you can share that in the chat with us, and also your name and which institution or community college you're coming from. Okay, welcome everyone. So in the chat, you could add what or who inspired you to become a teacher or pursuing this career as a teacher. Okay. So again, welcome everyone. As everyone's typing in the chat, just sharing their experience and answering that question. This is a presentation on how to become a middle school, high school teacher, tailored especially for the transfer students coming, going from the community colleges to the CSUs. But we also have some information for those that may be interested in the credential program far into the future. And then before we officially get started, this session is being recorded. And also you can find the transcript with the closed captioning on this Zoom. You just have to show closed captioning on your Zoom. So you just click on that and you'll be able to see the closed captioning in the bottom. And you can also move it around the screen and still see the words on the bottom. Okay. And if you have any questions throughout the sessions, feel free to add them to the chat. All right. So what we see in the chat, many people are sharing, what inspired them to become a teacher, who inspired them. This is very important just to remember who or what inspired you as you go through your journey, through your community college journey, your bachelor's degree journey, and eventually your credential journey. Always remembering what inspired you, and that will that hope will help you to get through all the challenges and all the different things that come up during your education. Okay, so my name is Wendy Muzien. I'm the Outreach and Recruitment Coordinator for the College of Education. Today we'll talk about how to become middle school, high school teacher, just to get you all thinking about the process and things to consider and who to connect with throughout your journey. Then we also have one of our student ambassadors, Irving Gray Angeles. You could introduce yourself, Irving.
Hello, everyone. My name is Irving. I am in the Single Subject Credential Program for history, and I majored in history from Cal State Long Beach. I graduated last semester, and I will be student teaching in the spring. So I'm about halfway done with the program.
Thank you, Irving. And then throughout the whole presentation, you'll be hearing Irving's experience, his personal experience as he went through the journey of transferring to Cal State Long Beach, pursuing his bachelor's degree, and then currently going through the Single Subject Credential Program. Okay. So thank you everyone for sharing your responses, sharing your name, and sharing who and what inspired you. So let's always remember that important information throughout your whole journey. So Irving's going to go through a few community college. So for those who are in the community college system, this information is much more suitable for all of you guys. Some that are at the Cal States level, you don't have to worry about this part because you're already at the Cal States already. So
All
Irving,
right.
you can continue.
Yeah. So we're going to start with two basic definitions. There is a bachelor's degree, which is for all of us who transferred out of community college. That's what we're moving on to a four-year university for. A bachelor's degree, as many of us know, is a four-year undergraduate degree completed at a university. It could be a Bachelor of Art or a Bachelor of Science. Now, a teaching credential is a post-baccalaureate degree. And some people don't really know the difference. So sometimes when people ask me like, oh, I thought you graduated school already, I have to let them know, well, I'm getting my teaching credential and it's a post-baccalaureate degree. So that is a program completed after graduating or obtaining a bachelor's degree. Sometimes people just refer to it as post-bac. And an example of that would be a teaching credential program. All right, so the next slides are going to be information for transfer students. Just some basic facts. Some of this will most likely be reviewed, but just a refresher. So to be considered for transfer, you need to complete 60 transferable semester units or 90 transferable quarter units. And you need to have a minimum 2.0 GPA or higher in all of your transferable coursework. You have to be in good standing in the last college or university that you attended and complete a minimum of 30 semester units or 45 quarter units in courses approved to meet CSU general education requirements. And lastly, you need to complete the CSU general education requirements in written communication, oral communication, critical thinking, and mathematics or quantitative reasoning with a C or better. So there are two possible pathways to follow to demonstrate preparation in your intended major. You can do the first route, which is a major specific requirements for transfers, or you can do the second route, which is an associate's degree for transfers, also known as an ADT. And
I did wanted to share with this link, you'll be guided to the university's helpful step-by-step process of the whole transfer process for those who are considering to transfer into Cal State Long Beach and based on your different majors. So in the PowerPoint, you'll find that helpful link there, which gives you a step-by-step instructions and information for the whole transfer journey. I just wanted to share that with everybody.
yeah, it's definitely a good resource.
Okay, so this, we go back to the PowerPoint. Okay.
All right, so important dates to remember. So for the fall semester admission, your coursework must be completed no later than the prior spring term. And for a spring semester admission, your coursework and units must be completed no later than the prior summer term. So for CSULB specifically, when you apply, there is a supplemental application that you have to submit, but that you will be notified by the university. It's usually you'll receive a link via an email. And for right now, spring 23 admissions, they will be due between September 1st and 2021 for the supplemental application. And for the CSULB applications, for the spring, it's between August 1st and August 31st. All right, so I'll let Wendy take over in this slide. You're muted, Wendy.
Thank you very much. So those anticipating to transfer into the university, just as any bachelor's degree that you pursue, pursue that bachelor's degree. However, if you already have an idea of what area you would like to teach, many of the universities have specific bachelor's degree added, tailored to prepare you to teach in that field. So here are some of the examples. And one key thing is to always talk to your advisors, either the counselors at the community college as they help you transfer and transition from the community college to the CSU, and also the advisors at the university. So even for those that will attend at Cal State Long Beach and are pursuing your bachelor's degree, maybe not in these specific areas, but any other area, we do have our teacher preparation advising center here at campus that's available for all students. So constantly checking in with those credential advisors, your program advisors, just to make sure you're on track. But again, if you have an idea already that you want to pursue, for example, even math education, like you want to be a math teacher in middle school or high school, Cal State Long Beach, we offer the bachelor's degree in math option in math education. So that would be a great way for that student to prepare themselves for the credential program and for the bachelor's degree and the content for that. So do keep in mind there are specific bachelors of arts and bachelors of science that support you in that progress. But if you're pursuing, for example, bachelors of psychology, like myself, I have a bachelor's in psychology, but you're considering becoming teaching middle school and high school in a different area, pursue that degree, complete that degree. That's the degree you want to pursue. And that's where our advisors will guide you as to how to prepare to teach a different subject later on in middle school and high school. But there are different ones. And Irving, he specifically went through the history path. He could talk about his journey when he transferred over to our university as a history major.
Yeah, so as Wendy just stated, I wanted to teach history. I knew that coming into Cal State Long Beach. So technically the credential is a social science credential, but history is part of the social sciences. So I majored in history. And that was the path I took. Majoring in the subject you want to teach is, more helpful, but you don't have to do that. You can major in something else and then, pursue your credential. I could have majored in art if I wanted to and pursued a credential in social science if I wanted to. But that's the path that I chose.
Yeah. Now here at Cal State Long Beach, we will be having an education minor or equity and education minor. This is very helpful minor for anyone outside of the liberal studies pathway. So if you're pursuing your bachelor's degree in psychology or any of the majors outside of our College of Education here at Cal State Long Beach, you could add on that minor. Just talk to the Department of Liberal Studies and their advisors to see how you can add on that minor in the courses. But this minor allows you to really taste, get some fieldwork experience, go through some of the education courses. Some of the courses will allow you to have an idea of what education is about, the topics that are the hot topics currently in the K-12 education system, and will really kind of connect you with even the College of Education, and you'll be able to have more information on this minor, especially for those that are transferring over this upcoming fall semester. During SOAR, you can even ask about this minor to your current advisors, and they'll connect you with the liberal studies advisors. But here you will find the contact information. It's only 15 units, so you can attach this minor to your current bachelor's degree that you are pursuing here at Cal State Long Beach. This is only available for the current students at Cal State Long Beach. So if you're transferring here, once you transfer over, you can consider this minor and add it on to your current bachelor's degree. And talking with the advisors will allow you to choose a specific 3-unit fieldwork course that you want to pursue, either one in the area of multiple subject, which is elementary education, the single subject credential for middle school, high school, or educational specialist. And I bring this up in this session for those interested in single subject credentialing and becoming a middle school and high school teacher. This minor will really allow you to get that experience and the taste of the field work and what it means to be, kind of in that classroom, and plus the topics in that K-12 education currently. So here are some requirements to consider, some topics as you go on your journey to become a teacher in the state of California. There's a lot of requirements for the state of California. And if you have any specific questions, we do have the Teacher Preparation Advising Center that they help specifically with all of those details for your credential and advising and reviewing your transcripts and making sure you're meeting those requirements as you're pursuing the credential program. We actually have one of the advisors here if you have any more specific questions throughout the whole time, but we're just going to do an overview of the basics of what you should consider, what you should look out for, what kind of questions you should be asking in order to be on the right path. So one thing is satisfying the basic skills requirement. I'm sure some of you have heard about the basic skills requirement. So it's really a requirement that shows the state of California that you understand basic reading, writing, you have basic math skills for the K-12 to have an education there, to teach in the K-12 system. It's one of the requirements to obtain your teaching credential here in the state of California. And the cool thing is there are 8 ways to satisfy this basic skills requirement. Even more recently, there's been a few more add-ons to this, but there's 8 ways. The CBES, or going through the multiple subject CSET, CSU early assessment program, if anyone taking those courses at the CSU level, the SATs or ACTs, some of the AP exams such as English, calculus, or statistics. If you have a basic skills exam that some students may take it at another state, that may allow them to waive this requirement here in the state of California. So you could bring that information up through coursework evaluation for a combination of coursework and exams. So before even considering any of the exams specifically or paying for those exams, consider the other options to satisfy this basic skills requirement. And that's where you can ask your advisors here at Cal State Long Beach. Once you transfer over to Cal State Long Beach, a lot of our credential advisors, they could officially review your coursework here. If you're a prospective student, you could also talk to them and just get an idea what will be the best option for you as you're considering to waive this basic skills requirement here.
Yeah, for me, my personal experience, I actually signed up to take the CBEST to fulfill my basic skills requirement. But because of the pandemic, they kept postponing, they canceled my test date and then they kept postponing it. So I ended up going to TPAC, the Teacher Preparation and Advising Center. And I actually had them evaluate my coursework, the option number 7 right here. And I found out that I satisfied the basic skills requirement through previous classes that I had taken. So that was, it's good to know that there's all these different ways to satisfy it. And it just makes it easier for us to prove that we have the basic skills that they ask of us.
Okay. So after this, you also have to show the state of California subject matter competency. Now, do you have knowledge of the subject that you are hoping to teach? You're planning to teach in the middle school and high school grades. So you're just showing the state of California. I know how to teach math. I know the content information, teach art, education, math, or social sciences, or English, whatever the subject you're focusing on teaching. So there are a few ways to demonstrate this competency, as you see here on the screen: passing the CSETs through through the subject matter program approved by the CTC. You can have a major in one of the exact subject areas that allow you to get your credential in, and then get that reviewed through coursework evaluation as well. That's where you just have to meet with one of the credential advisors to see if your coursework will satisfy that requirement, or a combination of coursework and CSET exams. So when you think about how to satisfy the basic skills requirement, as we talked previously, or how to show competency and satisfaction for the subject matter competency, there's different options. And that's where meeting with the advisor, a credential advisor, specifically if you're coming to Cal State Long Beach, meeting with them, talking to them, checking all of your options will really prepare you for the credential, and just having everything necessary for the state when you're officially going to the whole obtaining your credential.
Yeah, so for me, since I knew I wanted to teach history, when I met with my history advisor, I let them know I wanted to teach history in the high school level. So they referred me to my the Single Subject Credential advisor, and they told me we created a plan, with my advisor for what classes I would take to fulfill the subject matter. But in some of my classes, I have friends who majored in something different, and then they demonstrated their subject matter competency through one of the CSET exams. So everyone has a different path, and as long as you show them that the subject matter, then that's the important thing.
Okay. So we're going to now review about the single subject overview, the actual credential program. Currently, Irving is going through the credential program itself after he completed his bachelor's degree. But I'm going to pause and check in the chat if there's any questions, just to see. As I'm sharing my screen, I won't be able to see everything in the chat. So there is some question, and I have my colleague Jessica Olagi answering a lot of these questions. So thank you, Jessica. All right. Okay. So for the single subject, I just wanted to distinguish between two different credentials, at least one of the two most common ones. We also have the education specialist or the special education credential. But here, if you want to teach middle school or high school, you want to pursue the single subject credential. Anyone interested in teaching elementary school K-6, you'll want to pursue your multiple subject credential. So today, we're going to talk about the single subject credential itself and what that program looks like here at CSULB. Again, the requirements for other Cal States or other universities may be different, or how they structure their program a little bit. So you may have to do your research to check out like Cal State LA or Fullerton or some of the UCs to see how their programs are outline for them. But for here, for the single subject credential, allows you to teach the middle school or high school. I've heard of some teachers, for example, I have a friend that's art education, and she's had the opportunity to teach certain periods at a middle school, and then the rest of her day, she's going to the high school next door to teach art education, art 101 and art 102 at the high school next door. So she had the opportunity to teach both her same academic year for that Anaheim Unified School District. So single subject credential, it requires that you meet the subject matter competency. It's a post-bac credential, so it's done after your bachelor's degree is officially completed, and it's a 45-unit program. And typically it could be completed within 3 to 4 semesters, especially if you're going full-time, you'll be able to complete it within 3 to 4 semesters after you complete your bachelor's degree. And the multiple subject credential, again, if you're interested, if you're not sure which one is which, multiple subject is just to teach elementary school K to 6. You also have to meet subject matter competency for this specific credential as well. This one has 40 units and can also be completed in 3 to 4 semesters. For now, on to the single subject credential itself. Okay, so this is just an overview of CSULB. Again, other Cal States, other universities may have the outline slightly different. So you, as a student, if you're considering other institutions, you just have to do your research for them. So for the single subject credentials, again, 45 units total. You have 15 units of prerequisites and core requisites, and then another semester of 12 units of core courses. And then your student teaching is composed of 18 units. So if you're full-time, you'll be able to complete these courses within 3 semesters, but the program itself is self-paced, and you just have to complete all of the requirements within 7 years to officially get this credential. Okay, I'm gonna have Irving talk about his current experience about his single subject credentialing, how it's been going for him, and what is he's planning to do the rest of the next 2 semesters.
Hello, everyone. So, yeah, like Wendy just stated, I'm in the single subject credential for social science. Since I did get my undergraduate degree in history here at Long Beach, I was able to complete some of these units, the 15 prerequisites and co-requisites. I actually was able to do those as an undergrad. Of course, everyone is different. Every path is different. You know, you need to talk to your advisor about that, but that's what I was able to do. I was able to do the 15 units as an undergrad. And now that I'm a post-bac student, I'm finishing up my 12 units of core courses right now. And I will be student teaching in the fall, in the spring of 2023. God, time flies. So yeah, it's been a great experience. I had a great undergrad experience, and I really like that it's like if you know what you want to teach, it's really easy to, like talk to your advisors. They're very helpful. Because as you know, there's a lot of these requirements, a lot of classes you need to take. So I recommend, getting to know your advisors really well. All the different advisors, the advisor in the single subject credential program, the advisors at the teacher preparation and advising center, they will all help you. And that, they're a good resource to have. So yeah, that's currently where I'm at right now. I'm about halfway through the credential program. And yeah, that's about it.
Yeah, so kind of like what Irving mentioned earlier, current students in undergraduate programs at CSULB, if the schedule allows it, and as they talk with the advisors, the credential advisors, and then their advisors, they are able to take some of the prerequisite or core requisite classes even during their undergrad, maybe during their senior semester at the university. And that allows them just a transition between their bachelor's degree and then the post-bac much more easier, and then they're more connected to the credential already because they already have some of those courses completed beforehand. But again, like Irving mentioned earlier, always talk to your advisors, double check with them. If in doubt, visit the credential advisors, or even if you're at Cal State Long Beach at a specific different major outside of the College of Education, talk to your advisors to see what can fit in your schedule. So for the single subject credential program areas, there are different areas. And so you'll choose an area. Irving is currently pursuing the social science area. There's art, there's English, there's math, there's music, the different world languages, and then you choose a specific language there. The different sciences, biology, chemistry, geoscience, physics, foundational level science. So you'll choose a specific area, and then from there, the whole single subject credential will focus on preparing you to teach that specific subject that you're choosing, and then you'll get your credential in that specific area itself. So now we want to talk about, so that was just an overview of the single subject credential here at Cal State Long Beach. But now we want to talk about ways to get teaching experience. A lot of the time, some students ask, well, how can I start getting classroom experience? How can I know if I really want to teach, but I'm not officially in the courses or I'm not officially in the program yet? So here's some tips on how to gain that experience, which Irving can share with us.
Yeah, so part-time jobs are a really good way to get into the field, becoming a teacher's aide, tutor, substitute teaching, after-school programs. One website that's really good is EdJoin. You can go on EdJoin and there's postings for all kinds of jobs, from part-time to teaching to administrative jobs in K through 12. So that's a site I recommend using, EdJoin. And volunteering and networking is also recommended. You can look for networking opportunities. Like I said, talk to your advisors, join clubs. You got to really immerse yourself in if you want to teach, then you got to really put yourself out there and put yourself in these situations, where you can get to know people and learn about opportunities.
Yeah, so any part-time jobs.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I can talk about what the benefits of substitute teaching on this slide.
Oh, yes. So we'll go
Yeah.
on to the next slide. So definitely highly encourage you to search for jobs or volunteer opportunities, part-time jobs. A lot of the community colleges, if you're still in that, it's still in that community college, they usually have job fairs, they have future teacher clubs in those institutions as well, teaching pathways as well. So you could interact with even the faculty if they know or have knowledge of any positions at the school districts or any other education organizations in your area. So networking is a big thing to be able to just get access to know where you can get that teaching experience.
All right, so substitute teaching during your credential program. It's recommended. I mean, I recommend it because you get to get experience, in the classroom before you actually go on to the job, and there is opportunity for making that extra income. As students, that is something that's very helpful. So I'm currently in the process of applying to get my my emergency 30-day sub permit, which is what you need to substitute teach. So I want to get that experience before I start student teaching and before I start working. So this is the process to getting your emergency 30-day sub permit. You have to go to the CTC website and apply through there. Wendy, I don't know if you can give a little bit more background because I actually haven't done it yet.
Yeah, so maybe Jessica Lagishi may, if she has knowledge a little bit about this area, but the CTC has an outline of it on how to get the emergency permit. Here at Cal State Long Beach, we also have our credential office and the TPAC office to provide you guidance as to what to submit. And then each district may vary as to what they on the requirements they may need for you to sub in their districts.
Yeah, so if I can just jump in real briefly. Hi, everyone. I'm Jessica Loggy. I'm the Assistant Director of our Teacher Preparation Advising Center here at Cal State Long Beach. So just briefly, to be a sub, you do, like Irving said, need that 30-day sub permit issued from the CTC. And there are two ways to go about getting that. You can either apply on your own to the CTC, which is, it's kind of called the paper process, so to say, because you do have to gather all those documents and actually mail them up to the CTC. And then it takes quite a bit of time for them to process that application. It's anywhere from like 30 to 90 days right now. And then you'll get your 30-day sub permit as well as everything looks good. The other route to doing it is going through a school district though, or a county office of education. And to do that, you typically just go apply to the school district or through the county office of education to be a sub. Usually you have to interview with them. And then if you are hired to be a sub, they will then help you apply to the CTC for your 30-day sub permit. And they are able to do that application online. So if you go through a school district or a county office of ed, they can submit an online recommendation and those go really quick. You'll get your sub permit usually within about 10 to 14 days. So that is actually probably the preferred method to go because it's faster. The district helps you with it or the county office of ed will help you through that process. Whereas if you go and do it on your own through the paper process, it takes a very long time. If anything is missing, they then send you a rejection letter and tell you what's going on. So if you can, I would highly recommend going through the district or your county office or an employer of some sort to get that sub permit because it's a whole lot easier. And I see Renee shaking her head too.
I agree with every single thing you said. Do it through the district or county office of ed if you can. CTC is fantastic, but they have a small amount of people doing a ton of work is what it comes down to. And so school districts, it seems like it's more streamlined. So I agree 100% with what Jessica just said.
Okay, perfect. Thank you so much. So as you're pursuing your credential, even once you have your bachelor's degree and are not officially in the credential program yet, but you want to get that experience, substitute teaching will be could be a good option for you in that point.
Oh, and one last thing. When you're student teaching, you are technically still a student. It's good to already have your sub permit. That way, if you're like a master teacher ever takes the day off and you're already there student teaching for them, you could possibly get paid. So that's what a lot of my friends do, and that's what I'm trying to do as well. So it's good to have it for experience, for that income that we all really rely on. And yeah, that's about it.
If I can just chime in one more, thank you for saying that, Irving. 100% agree. One of the other parts of getting a credential is you have to complete 600 hours of field work in a K-12 classroom, depending on your area and your level. And we allow students to use substitute teaching hours to count for some of those field work hours now. So rather than just having to also find extra time in your schedule to go out and complete your field work hours for your class, if you're a substitute teacher, you're working, you're getting paid, and you're also fulfilling those hours for your courses. So another good reason to become a substitute teacher while you're going through your credential program.
All right. So now we're just going to talk about some of the resources available to students here at Cal State Long Beach once you're a current student, either here as a transfer student, finishing your bachelor's degree, a credential student, going through your credential program. There are services at the university that will be very helpful throughout your time here at Cal State Long Beach. So I'm going to have Irving talk about some of these services here.
Yeah, so I'm a real big advocate for getting all the support services on campus, taking advantage of them. When I compiled this slide, I just put some of the many services that we offer on campus. Some of these I've used. For example, the ASI Beach Pantry, they offer, you can go in there and you can take up to 5 items. They have cold brew coffee, fruit, just snacks to get you through the day. When you're here on campus. There's the Dream Success Center, which helps documented and undocumented students. So I put the links on these, so you can check them out. There's also CAPS, Counseling and Psychological Services on campus. I've personally used them. They're very helpful. They have great peer mentor programs. They have like support groups. They have counseling. That's something that's really important, for us students, to get through this, through these 4 years, and then to get through our credential programs. It's a lot, it's very demanding. So, make sure you take advantage of these resources and services on campus. Lastly, I want to shout out to the Student and Cultural Resource Centers. I am a member of Fuerza, which is a Latinx student organization. You can, when you go on the link, there's a lot of different student cultural centers you can check out. So I advocate, for everyone to go out there, find the sources you need, find the support system you need, and that'll really make a difference and help you get through your academic journey and, to reach the goal.
And definitely. So even as credential students, so if you're here as only a credential students, these services are still available to all of you, the students. And then as a transfer student, you'll be able to connect with these services as well as you're completing your bachelor's degree here at Cal State Long Beach. And these are only a few. There is a long list of different support services throughout the whole university, but these are like one of the most highlighted ones that I wanted to highlight. Now, within the College of Education, we do have scholarships. So in general, the university offers scholarships for current students, whether you're completing your undergraduate work here or completing your post-bac or graduate work later on. But as long as you're a CSULB student, you have the opportunity to submit the application for the university scholarships. But then the College of Education specifically, which houses the teaching preparation program, so the multiple subject, single subject, special education, they have specific scholarships available for those students. So there is always a cycle. So once you're here at Cal State Long Beach, just keep in mind the dates. And when applying for these scholarships, that's extra income and support during your journey here. And then within the College of Education, there is a teacher resource center that allows students to get free printing, to have materials for any of your projects that you're having in your courses, or any projects that you need. You have the materials there. You have prep guides there. And then also the Teacher Preparation Advising Center provides you even virtual prep guides, guidance as to where you can access those guides as well. So we had Jessica Olagi, who's the one of the credential advisors as well, that oversees the advising center. So prospective students, you could also connect with them and they'll talk to them about the more specific details of the program. Every student is different in regards to their journey to the credential program. This was more of a general overview, but all students have specific questions to see if they, how can they be exempt for the basic skills requirement, if this will allow them to satisfy other requirements. And that's where our credential advisor specifically can connect with you. You can connect them with via Zoom. That's I think the best way, the easiest way to connect with them. But there's also email, phone specifically, and they'll be able to talk to you through the process. So actually, I'm thankful that Jessica was here today and kind of just showcasing the advising center and giving us input on even the 7 permits. And then if you're not sure where to go or who to talk to, you can always contact us at the CAD@csulb.edu. And then from there, we'll be able to guide you or refer you to the appropriate office, whether it's the TPAC office or maybe another office in the enrollment services or somewhere else at the university level. Sometimes we're not sure where to start. So you can just ask us a question there and we'll refer you to the appropriate departments to guide you the next steps. But
can people like on Instagram, like if they have questions, like follow the Instagram and send a DM, or is it better to just email us?
Well, if you're on Instagram, you follow DM. We've had a few students and then we just share the information to the corresponding department. So yeah, you could DM us on Instagram we've had a few people that DM us, and from there I just share like the TPAC information. I always share that information, whoever DMs me there, or if they're talking about enrollment services. So either or, email will be the best way. But if you're on Instagram and you have a question while browsing on Instagram, you can DM us there. So yeah, so that's the end of this presentation. I'm going to stop sharing so I can see the chat, because I haven't had the opportunity to see the chat. Oops. Okay.
I have a question if you don't mind.
Yes, yeah, we're open to questions right now.
So I'm currently at Cerritos and I am pursuing a multi-subject teaching. I'm going through that route for elementary teaching, but I told myself that eventually I would like to go teach junior high school in a single subject. How would that work? Would I have to, I know I would have to take additional classes, but is that gonna be like another certification, or can I just take the additional other classes that I need to teach that subject?
Yeah, and I don't know if Jessica would want to jump in, but once you have that decision to want to pursue maybe the single subject credential and attach that to your multiple subject credential, that's where the TPAC office could really give you that detailed information as to the next steps to add on that credential.
Yeah, absolutely. It's, oh, sorry, Esmeralda, just real briefly, to add on, once you get your multiple subject credential, you finish your degree, you get your multiple subject credential, to add on single subject, it's just one additional course. And then you do have to prove that you are subject matter competent in the area that you're planning to teach. So if you want to teach, I don't know, English, you would need to prove that you are subject matter competent in English. So that can be done through the CSAT exam, through coursework, a number of different ways. So you would meet with one of our advisors, we'd take a look and kind of help you decide how you're going to satisfy that subject matter competence. And then you just take one additional course. It's a curriculum and methods and teaching at the secondary level course, and that would get you the additional credential. Pretty easy.
Oh, awesome. Oh, okay. Thank you so much.
Yep.
Any other questions in the chat?
I actually had a comment. Do you mind if I share?
Oh, yes.
Just to what Jessica was just saying, I had a friend who wanted to be an elementary school teacher, so she was pursuing a multiple subject credential. This was at UC Santa Barbara, but she had her bachelor's degree in English and she did a minor in biology. And so when she got her multiple subject credential, she tested out for single subject English and single subject bio, and then she can teach anything. She can teach kindergarten up to 12 or TK up to 12th grade, and she can literally move anywhere and have a job instantly. And interestingly enough, you would think that she would automatically go into the bio because that's the highest need of all those positions, but she's remained an elementary school teacher for the majority of the time because that was where her heart and passion is.
Yeah, there are so many different options when it comes to getting teaching credentials, adding authorizations, adding additional credentials that can open up your areas that you're authorized to teach so much. So please ask those questions. We are here to help you decide on what you want to do and how to add on those additional credentials and authorizations to open up those areas. So absolutely, yes, you can have 5, 6, 7 credentials that kind of give you limitless possibilities of where you can go and what you want to teach. So
Jessica, do you guys offer a combined credential master's program? Because I know I did a combined credential master's, and that put me to the second to highest part of the pay scale on my very first year of teaching.
Yeah,
so we don't. I was maxed out and I was making the most I could possibly make based on my number of units.
Yeah, so unfortunately, we do not have a combined program, but we have several of our Masters in Education programs allow you to bring in 12 units from your credential. So,
so it cuts it down significantly.
So you only have 18 units left to get your master's. So it does, you can bring in, 4 courses with you, depending on 3-4 courses, depending on which program you choose. And then it's a shortened, just 6 more courses to get your master's degree.
Yeah, I don't know why people wait on the master's. I mean, I know sometimes you get burnout and you're like, I just need to get in there. But for me, the difference between getting that master's, it was like a semester longer. That was all pretty much. And I ended up making like, I don't know, $5,000-$6,000 more per year every single year.
There's also a misconception out there that students think if they have a master's degree, they're not going to get Exactly. They're not going to get hired.
Total falsehood. They're more likely to be hired.
Yeah, because everyone thinks districts aren't going to hire me with a master's degree as a first-year teacher because they have to pay me more. And that is not the case. That is not the case. So I'm so glad you said this.
They want somebody who's going to retain and who's going to stick there. So yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely. Thank you for bringing that up. Yes, get that master's degree, y'all. Once you finish that credential, do not hesitate.
Plus, another thing with the master's too, you guys, the moment you have that master's degree, you are then eligible to teach in 116 community colleges. I started out a kindergarten teacher. I had no idea I was going to spend 15 years of my career as a professor and a director and an administrator at a college. That wasn't in my plan. But I got the right degree that opened up doors, and you just network and put yourself out there and try stuff that's uncomfortable, because sometimes it ends up working out into something totally unexpected and awesome.
Yep, I have an elementary credential. I have a master's in elementary education, and I've been working at Cal State Long Beach for 15 years now. So I'm right there with you, Renee.
We're unicorns. We're magical people that can go across education systems. And
Yep.
This is what we need, more people like that though. So those of you that are on and thinking about what's my future going to look like, make it so it's like unlimited options. Put yourself in a position that you get to choose what you do next. It's a very good place to be.
Yeah, really good points there. So, and it really gives you an idea of the different career opportunities even after you obtain your credentials and your masters. You're not just stuck in just teaching at a district, but you have many open door opportunities even within the district, and then going up from there, or going to the university and helping the next generation of teachers to become teachers. All right. So yeah, definitely a lot of golden nuggets there. So any other questions? If not, we are almost 5 minutes before 1 o'clock. For those that are applying to attend another session at 1 or have class or have work, you're free to go. But if you have any other questions, we'll be here for a few more minutes until 1 o'clock.
I've got a quick question.
Mhm.
Is it pretty easy if you get a single subject credential to go the other way and add on the multi-subject credential?
Yep, it's pretty much the same thing, except the only difference is if you go multiple to single subject, it's 1 course. If you go single to multiple, it's 2 courses.
Okay.
So 1 additional course, but you can do them both at the same time. So
okay, perfect. Thank you.
So I have a question.
Okay.
So
Valerie.
I did want to be like a middle school teacher, but my major is child development. And when I transfer to Long Beach, it changes to family and child studies. How would I be able to do that single on?
And that's where once you complete that bachelor's degree, you just pursue the single subject credential and meet with the advisor to see which exams or which information you will need to meet the subject matter competency in the area you want to teach in middle school and high school. What were you planning or hoping to teach in middle school or high school?
I was thinking math or even English.
Okay, so yeah, so that's where you'll be able to know probably which exams you may have to take and everything you have to do for the single subject. Actually, there are very common, a lot of credentialed students, they have different bachelor's degrees. So they come from a variety of bachelor's degree, even engineering, psychology, and so forth. And they'll still be able to get their credential through the single subject credential to become middle school or high school.
Yep, exactly, Wendy. You just have to have a bachelor's degree to teach. It doesn't really matter what the bachelor's degree is in, you just need it. Now, the benefits of majoring in math or English is that it would waive your CSET exam. But you are perfectly fine with your child and family studies major to go on to earn an English or a math credential. You would just prove subject matter competency through the CSET exam. There's the only difference. So.
Okay, thank you.
All right, well, thank you, everyone. If there's no other questions, you're free to go.
I do. I have a question
Okay.
for Jessica.
Since
This
I'm
is just
here.
like, this is just like it's just an opinion. Like I'm like asking people because I've asked like, oh, because I'm getting my social science credential, and some people are telling me, oh, get your master's in history. You know, you could be a better history teacher. But I've heard that the history master's is like, I don't know, very demanding. I mean, I'm sure they're all demanding, but they said that one's like a little more demanding. And then, but I'm thinking, or maybe I can get a master's in education. And
I
you
think
know,
it depends on where you want to go, Irving. Where do you see yourself, 10, 15 years down? And I know that's a really hard
Yeah.
question, because when people asked me that when I was in my credential program, I was like, oh, I'm going to be an elementary teacher, and then I'm going to be a principal, and then and never in a million years would I have thought I would be at a higher education institution for 15 years. So, but it depends, I think, on kind of where you want to go. So if you see yourself kind of teaching history, being maybe a history department chair, things like that, then I think the history degree, master's degree would help and would be good. But if you see yourself kind of moving more into administration, like principal, or even if you're going to be like a curriculum lead or something like that, then the master's in education, like curriculum and instruction, might be a good pathway for you, depending on where you kind of see yourself going in your teaching career. But to be honest with you too, a master's degree is going to help you out, whether it's in history or whether it's in curriculum and instruction or some other area of education. It's just kind of which pathway do you want to go? The history one, I have also heard, it's very research based. Not that our education ones are not, but our education ones are based more in practice and action research, so to say. So I have also heard that about the history masters, that it's a lot of reading, it's a lot of research, and things like that. So just that's my personal opinion, though. That is not like
yeah. Thank you though. Thank you. Yeah. I like to hear what everyone has to say. I got a choice to make.
I think Lily, you have your hand raised.
Yes, really quick, I would like to know what would be the pathway for me to have a credential in psychology?
So the psychology actually falls under social science. So you would get a social science credential, and it would authorize you to teach history, political science, economics, psychology. It also authorizes you to teach sociology if that's offered at a high school level, as well as anthropology. I've heard of a couple, but it's under the social science umbrella. So you would get a credential in social science.
Okay, and is a master necessary for that one, or
a master's is not necessarily necessary for any teaching credential. A master's degree just helps move you up the pay scale, and it typically helps you move into some of those administrative positions, but it's not always necessary. It's completely up to you.
And a bachelor's as well, or?
A bachelor's is required to get a teaching credential. You do have to have a bachelor's, but it doesn't matter what the bachelor's is in. You just need a bachelor's degree.
Awesome. Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Thank you. All right. So we are ending our session for today. Thank you, Jessica, for joining us so much. And then thank you everyone for joining us for this session.